Good day, I am Daryl Cloyd-2 from BSE 3A English, and today I will gonna present to you my lesson plan demonstration in Technology Teaching Learning 2. Class, kindly stand up for our prayer. All together in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, class. Okay, you may take your seat now. Oh, it seems that your chairs are arranged properly. And I already checked your attendance and I found out that everybody are present today. Very good, class. Keep it up. Class, today we will learn about English subject. It includes the language, learning, process, fluency, and a lot more. And along with our discussion, please bear with me and observe our classroom standards. Class, what can you notice about this picture? Yes, this boy is sitting properly. What about this second picture? Yes, this picture shows that cell phones are not allowed when the class is still going on. And last, what about this last picture? Very good. This picture shows a girl raising her hand, meaning to say, class, just raise your hand if you want to answer or ask question. Okay, class, kindly pass your assignments forward and I'll be the one to check it. But before we proceed to our new lesson, let us review first what was our previous lesson. And class, who can still recall what was our lesson last meeting? Very good. Our topic last meeting was all about active and passive voice. Class, as a sort of recap, I will show you an animated flashcards that contains questions that are related to the lesson that we previously discussed. Class, just identify whether the sentence is active or passive voice. Question number 1. I ate a piece of chocolate cake. Is it an active or passive voice? This sentence is an active voice. Number 2. The librarian read the book to the students. Active or passive? The answer is active voice. Number 3. The money was stolen. Active or passive? The answer is passive voice. Number 4. They are paid on Fridays. Active or passive? The answer is passive voice. Last, number 5. The movie is being made in Hollywood. Active or passive? The answer is passive voice. Class, what do you do before writing a journalistic essay? Did you consider some steps in writing an essay? Class, in relation to this, for you to be guided, I will show you an animated video clip. And kindly observe the important information that will be mentioned along with the discussion. Class, this is the video clip.
created using how-to.
Class, what have you observed in the video clip? Very good. Video clip shows that in journalistic writing, there are 5 basic steps in writing process to produce a quality material. And these are the following 5 steps of writing process. First, pre-writing. Second, drafting. Third, revising. Fourth, editing. And 5, publishing. Class, try to imagine that you have already done in doing those 5 steps in writing process. This time, I will let you describe and emphasize the first step in writing process, and your answer will be flashed on the screen. One student may answer, I pre-wrote my essay yesterday. While the other one may answer, I had pre-written my essay before I wrote it. Class, what have you observed in the sentences flashed on the screen? Very good! Both sentences that have been flashed on the screen have expressed and emphasized a complete action that took place in the past using their specific sentence format. Let's take a look back on the examples. I pre-wrote my essay yesterday. This sentence follows a format of subject, verb, plus ed, which indicates an action that took place or existed at some definite time in the past. The pre-wrote word is a past tense of pre-write. Meanwhile, I had pre-written my essay before I wrote it. This sentence follows a format of subject plus had plus verb and plus ed, which indicates an action that was completed before another took place. I had pre-written my essay is the action that was already been completed before the subject able to start writing. The had pre-written is the past perfect tense of the pre-write. That is why, class, in English grammar, we have a grammatical unit that describes and emphasizes completed action that took place in the past. And in order to do this, take note that we have to use what we call past tense and past perfect tense. Class, our objectives is under the curriculum guide. We have the content standards. The learners demonstrates understanding of South and West Asian literature as an expression of philosophical and religious beliefs. Information flow in various text types: reality, fantasy, and opinion, and listening and viewing materials. Word decoding strategies and the use of information sources, active-passive construction, direct or reported speech, perfect tenses, and logical connectors in journalistic writing. We have also the performance standards. The learner transfer learning by composing a variety of journalistic text, the contents of which may be used in the composing and delivering in memorized oral speeches featuring use of properly acknowledged information sources, grammatical signals for opinion making, persuasion and emphasis, and appropriate prosodic features, stance, and behavior. We have the learning competency. We have the grammatical awareness, which includes the past and past perfect tenses. It includes the curriculum guide code. We have EN8G-4B-10. 3. And for the specific objectives or learning outcomes, we have students will be able to use the past and past perfect tenses in journalistic writing. We have also to express an action that had happened in the past and emphasize an action that was completed before another took place. For the content or subject matter, we have the topic. This is the use of past and past perfect tenses in journalistic writing. Our reference is the Improve Your English Smart Books. The author of this is Geraldine Miranda, and the page numbers are from 30 to 33. For learning resources, we have to integrate the ICT or technology in delivering our topic. I use the Save from .NET, a video clip downloader for audio-visual presentation. I use also Slides Carnival, which is a template maker for animated presentations. We have also the Canva, a free graphic design platform, and the e-media using the smartphones and laptops, and also TV monitor display and a Bluetooth speaker. Class, our topic for this morning is all about the use of past and past perfect tenses in journalistic writing. Class, this time we will have an activity. We will play a game called Filling Up Events. The mechanics of this game is that first, me as your teacher, I will start a simple chain of actions and conditions by describing or emphasizing series of sentences in the format of either past tense and past perfect tense. Then, I will call upon the first pupil to continue. This first pupil repeats the teacher's sentence. Next, he or she will add up his or her own sentence and so on. And then your answers will be flashed on the screen. Just like in this example, the teacher will start a chain of action using this sentence. Yesterday, I went up the mountain. Then the pupil 1 will repeat the teacher's sentence. Yesterday, I went up the mountain. Then he or she will create his or her own sentence. I brought a bottle of water. Then this time, the pupil 2 will now continue the chain. Pupil 2, yesterday I went up the mountain. I brought a bottle of water. I had prepared myself before the climb. Then, the pupil 3 will do the same chain of action. When almost everybody has distributed or until the chain becomes impossible to remember, then the class stops. Then, with your seatmates, write down 10 sentences, 5 for past tense and another 5 for past perfect tense, among the sentences that your classmates able to express and emphasize during our activity. The teacher must observe keenly with the students' mistakes and proper sentences, whether they use the language focus properly, then record it to be used in your reinforcement in the next stage. Class, what have you observed in the activity in terms of actions and conditions that had happened in the past? How did you express and emphasize them? Have you noticed how your classmates able to use the past tense and past perfect tenses? This time, we will analyze your answers. If you really identify correctly the type of tense in relation to your chosen sentence during the activity. We will determine also if you're able to apply the correct format of each tenses. I will let you distinguish which is better to use while presenting your past actions and conditions. Class, Let us know first what is the past tense. Past tense is it indicates an action or condition that took place or existed at some definite time in the past. Take note that regular or irregular verbs are used to express actions in the past. Just like in this example, he wrote a letter to me. Christine danced gracefully. These two examples is in a past tense form because they use wrote and danced, which expresses an action that took place in the past. The past tense of a verb is used to express the following. First, past action in indefinite time. For example, the director congratulated the awardees. Second, the past condition in indefinite time. For example, I was sick. Third, past condition in definite time. For example, I was sick 2 days ago. This is the illustration of simple past tense, which follows a sentence format of verb plus ed or it's irregular. We have two examples. I played the guitar and Julie sang a lullaby. This example used a verb plus ed, while this example used irregular verbs. These two examples is a simple past tense which expresses an action that took place in the past. This simple past tense could be placed between the past and the present, where you can see the completed activity placed at the center. Using a Canva, a free graphic design platform that allows you to easily create invitations, business cards, flyers, and lesson plans, Zoom backgrounds, and more using professionally designed templates. You can even upload your own photo and add them to Canva's template using a drag and drop interface. Using a Canva, I created a graphic design when to use the past simple tense. And when to use past simple tense, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First, finish past action. We have the examples. They called me a minute ago. She went to the park yesterday. My family visited me last month. Second, situations which started and finished in the past. Finish time period. Examples, he taught English at primary school. We live in New York. I studied economics at university. Third, past state or past habit. We have the examples. They rode bikes a lot when they were children. We often relax in the pub after work. I used to love this TV series. Fourth, past actions which happened one after another. Examples, Emily came to the cafe, ordered a cup of coffee, and drank it with pleasure. He put on his clothes, took the key, and went outside. We met at the cinema and watched a movie. Last, number 5, time makers. For examples, yesterday, last week, ago, then, and in 2016. Take note, class, that the past tense is formed in different ways for regular and irregular verbs. For regular verbs, we form the past tense by adding ed or d. Look at the chart A. We have these verbs or given verbs. We have love, walk, and listen. In past tense, we use or we add ed or d. The love becomes loved, walk becomes walked, and listen becomes listened. While the past tense or regular verbs is not formed by adding ed or d to the present form because the whole word is changed. Look at the chart B. These given verbs such as go, have, and make was totally changed in terms of past tense because go becomes went, have becomes had, and make becomes made. Class, here are the rules to follow in making the past form of regular and irregular verbs. First, add D to simple form of the verb that ends in E. Examples, prepare becomes prepared. Erase become erased. Live becomes lived. Use become used. Second, add ed to the simple form of the verb that ends in two or more consonants. Examples, helped, helped, brush, brushed, much, matched, return, returned. Third, add ed to the simple form of the verb that ends in two or more consonants. Example, pray, prayed, deliver, delivered, enjoy, enjoyed, need, needed. Fourth, if a one-syllable verb ends in a single consonant with a vowel before it, double the consonant and add ed. Examples, pat, patted, tag, tugged, pod, padded, knit, knitted. Last, many irregular verbs change in spelling. They change in pronunciation too. Just like in this example. In present tense, we have begin, which changed its spelling and pronunciation into begun. Drink becomes drunk. Live becomes left. And sweep becomes swept. For the past perfect tense, we have this. It indicates an action or condition that was completed at a time now past. It follows the format of had plus past participle form of the main verb. Examples, Cloyd had watched the horrible film. Second, he had lived in Thailand for several months. These sentences used a had plus the past participle form of the main verb watch and live. These are considered as the past perfect tenses. The past perfect tense expresses first an action that was completed before another or action. Example, my aunt had finished her speech when the rail fell. Second, the condition that existed before another past action. Example, Gia's father had been a vendor before he became wealthy. Class, this is the illustration of past perfect tense, which follows a format of had plus past participle form of the verb. We have the two examples. John had started the music before I arrived. Second, they had considered the option before signing the contract. These two sentences use had plus past participle form of the verb, which is start and consider, which makes them a past perfect tenses. These past perfect tenses could be placed between the past and present, which first completed an activity and then another activity. Using again with Canva, I created a graphic design platform on when to use the past perfect tenses. And when to use perfect tenses, we have three. First, action finished before another past action or used in combination with past simple. We have these examples. She had already cooked dinner when her husband came home. When I saw him last time, he had already done the haircut. They had printed the wall before I arrived. Second, action which had finished by the specific moment in the past. Example, by 2 o'clock, by that time, by September. These are the examples. By 6 p.m., we have posted the news. They had already walked the dog by the moment I returned home. By that time, she had already left the house. Last, time markers. We have these examples. Before, by, or the specific time. When, by that time. By Monday, May, New Year, already, and etc. Class, using past and past perfect tenses in journalistic writing. Remember that good journalism most often does not include I, you, or we. Keep in mind, class, that journalism is generally in the past tense, especially news reports. The reason most news reports are written in the past tense is because they describe events that have already occurred. Past tense allows the writer to more freely jump around the timeline of your story. It is easier to make a non-linear story when we're writing about the past events without the use of flashbacks. Doing this properly can lead to a stronger storytelling experience and can feel more fluid or natural than it does in present tense. Past tense in the more traditional of the tenses. Because of this and the prevalence of the past tense literature, it tends to be slightly more enjoyable for the readers. Class, this time, I will measure your comprehension if you really comprehend our lesson today. By using this direction, in a 1/2 sheet of paper, express and emphasize in 2 sentences the following actions and conditions as part of your past memorable experiences using the past and past perfect tenses. Example, summer vacation is your memorable experience. Use it in a sentence using the past and past perfect tenses. So we have this. Last year, we visited Taal Lake for our summer vacation. We use visited, which is a past tense, using the verb plus ed. This is now considered as a past tense. So class, this is the following experiences or memorable experiences that you will use in constructing your sentence using past and past perfect tenses. First day of school, the Christmas party, playing with friends, receiving a gift, and going to church. Class, since the news report, as we mentioned a while ago, are written in the past tense, observe keenly to the content of the news reporting that will be flashed on the screen. In 1 to 2 paragraphs, I will let you write as many as past and past perfect tenses as you can observe during the news reporting. Afterwards, I will give you a task to convert those sentences from the past tense to past perfect tense or vice versa. Class, this is the video clip of news reporting.
Well, the Philippines is one country that is taking steps to protect its environment. One of the country's great natural treasures, Boracay Beach, was shut down due to massive sewage pollution. The beach was cleaned up and is officially set to reopen on October 26th. But as Anna Corin reports, it will be with a lot of restrictions. Consistently ranked one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, the island of Boracay here in the Philippines is finally reopening after being shut down 6 months ago to undergo massive rehabilitation works. The Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte earlier this year declared the island a cesspool following years of mismanagement, corruption, over-tourism and environmental degradation. Government inspectors found more than 2,000 businesses and homes were illegally connected to the island's drainage system instead of the main sewer line, which led to raw effluent being pumped directly into the sea. An interagency task force was formed to oversee the rehabilitation of the island, which includes the construction of a new sewerage and drainage system, telecommunication lines, as well as 20 kilometres of new roads and footpaths. The 2-year project, only a quarter of the way through, is estimated to cost $25 million. But for the residents, the most dramatic improvement has been the quality of the water.
Take a look, it's beautiful. The shoreline too. It's so beautiful here.
With environment laws and building codes now being enforced, only 68 of the 600 resort lodgings here on Boracay have actually complied, which means these establishments can only resume operations for the official opening on October 26th. And while tourists arrive at the end of the month, they may be shocked to learn that Boracay's party reputation is now a thing of the past. No longer will people be allowed to smoke and drink on the beach. There will be no beach beds, chairs, tables or umbrellas on the sand. Nor will masseurs or vendors be allowed to operate on the beach. Single-use plastic has been banned, as have water sports within 100 metres of the shoreline.
I love it that Boracay is our pilot for sustainable tourism. This is just the beginning, and we want all major tourist destinations to be practice sustainable tourism.
There is no denying that the rehabilitation of Boracay still has a long way to go, and there are some asking whether this island is really ready to be opened up to tourists. Well, the government says that the laws are in place to protect this piece of paradise, and it hopes that it will be a blueprint for other tourist destinations in the country and around the world. Anna Corin, CNN, Boracay, the Philippines.
Class, as part of your assignment, look for your partner. Then, study the pictures carefully. In a one whole sheet of paper, first, formulate a sentence that indicates a past and past perfect tenses based on each picture. After, use it as your guide in creating a short journalistic essay. Express and emphasize there the action and conditions happened to our ancestors in the past. Just like in this example, using this picture, you can create or formulate a sentence that indicate past and past perfect tenses. Some of the early Filipinos lived in the caves. Since we can see that our ancestors there lived already in the cave, so therefore, in your sentence must depict the meaning of the picture. Class, this is our pictures. First, second, third, fourth. Okay, class, that's all for today. I hope that you have learned something today. Goodbye, class. See you in our next meeting. Thank you and God bless.